Hey, what's going on, people? Knowledge here. I got about maybe about 3, 4 subscribers of mine wanted my opinion on a recent casting call that was posted on the internet or other sources for the N.W.A movie biopic. And um, I posted this on Facebook a while back, and I was part of me, I was like, okay, yeah, I want to see it, and then part of me was like, I'm questioning I'm questioning the studios of how they are going to go about making this film. So I was kind of iffy about whether this movie should even be made. But a recent casting call post came out, and uh, I read it, and it was very unprofessional. Let me say that it was very disrespectful, but especially to black women. And I'm going to read you guys part of the selection category of how they went about drawing in people as far as the casting call. And I'm reading this off my phone, so you guys bear with me. And these are the particular girls that they are looking for as far as to be in the movie. It says A girls, meaning the highs of the high. These are the hottest of the hottest models. Must have real hair, no extensions, very classy looking, great bodies. You can be black, white, Asian, Hispanic, Middle Eastern, or mixed race. Now that's the definition of the highs of the high. It says B girls. These are fine girls, long natural hair, really nice body, small waist, nice hips. You should be light skinned. Beyonce is phototype here. In other words, they're saying they want a woman that um, basically not resembles, but have certain characteristics like Beyonce. Light skin, all that other bullshit. C girls. These are African American girls, medium to light skin with a weave, ages 18 to 30. D girls. These are African American girls, poor, not in good shape, medium to dark skin tone, character types, 18 to 30. Um, wow. And when I read this, I was like, damn, I mean, who would even give the cosign to release this out to the public? But let me say a couple of things that a lot of people don't understand with movie making and marketing and the music industry and everything. A lot of times, and I see this a lot because I work within the music industry. A lot of times, um, record companies, movie studios, etc., anybody that operates within the entertainment field, they will go to outside sources. Maybe not a source that is well known with the record company or with the movie studio. And what they'll do is they'll go to outside sources to get basically marketing and promotion, but get it at a cheaper price because these are companies that are not well established. So they'll go outside for budget reasons and get people to market things like casting calls, putting up billboards, marketing, production, etc., etc. And a lot of times they'll give these people the okay to do what they want to do, say what they want to do, without getting it pre-checked with the record company, with the movie studio, etc., etc. So these people go out, they're not that professional, they haven't been doing it that long, and what happens is that they go out and they're unprofessional. They say certain words that are neither racial, uh, show discrimination, show unprofessionalism, and what happens is that the record company or the movie studio is connected with this company. So nobody really is looking at the company, so to say. They're looking at them, but they're more or less looking at what's the big name associated with that. So you have people like whether it's a big record company like Epic or Def Jam or Interscope, etc., or Sony Pictures, Universal, shit, I can go on and on. Warner Brothers, they get the main backlash from this because of what this outsourced marketing company decide to do with their brand. And then you have people that come out and they'll blame, people like Ice Cube or Gary or Dr. Dre and so on and so on for this type of stuff when they have nothing to do with it. Their job is to produce and act in a movie. They have nothing to do with the marketing. A lot of people don't really understand that when it comes to the entertainment industry. There's the face of the brand, and then there's a lot of other outside entities and people that you have hundreds of people who will work on a movie or work on an album. Believe it or not, there's a lot of people who are behind the scenes doing certain things and working on certain products or projects. Excuse me. And first of all, like I said, I thought it was highly disrespectful. I think that this company needs to be reprimanded. Nobody should ever work with them. And it's just it's sad that we have people within the entertainment industry that have this type of mindset. Now, remind you, N.W.A. This is probably going to be predominantly probably a black cast. They'll probably add a couple of like they mentioned in the casting call, Brazilian chicks or white chicks, Hispanic chicks to give it more of that universal type of feel, because I know how these people operate when it comes to marketing certain things out. So because of that, I thought it was highly disrespectful and it was unprofessional. These people they need their ass whipped, and they definitely need to be fired to the man. And to be honest with you, whatever movie production company, Gary and all them cats, they need to sue this company, because this really put a tarnish not only on them but on this movie, because you're going to have a lot of black people that are going to come out and say, why should I even go out and audition for the movie or even go support this movie because of this casting call blueprint that was distributed out to the public. So, this is definitely a lawsuit, but on to other things about, just because I want to kind of tackle everything in this one video, just with the overall movie and the casting call blueprint that came out. A lot of people are, questionable about this whole N.W.A. movie, and I'm one of them. A lot of people have issues with N.W.A. and their content and a lot of things that they might have portrayed within their music, and it's not just white folks, it's black people. But a lot of people who are judging N.W.A. or the N.W.A. movie don't know anything about hip hop. And I'll give you a prime example. And it makes me laugh because, I get into debates with people about hip hop all the time, because for some reason, I'm one of the first person they're going to try to debate with or have a conversation with, because I work within the industry. But I have an uncle that can't stand today's hip hop. I mean, every time I see him, he's got something negative to say. He's kind of stuck in, the whole, I would say, the 80s era of hip hop, and that's cool. We all have that era of hip hop that we love, but I think it's important that we have an open mind and we understand the culture before we start judging. And, like I was saying, my uncle can't stand today's hip hop, but he'll ask me questions about today's hip hop, things that are going on within the industry, ridicule hip hop up and down. But the first thing I ask him, I'll say, what are the 5 elements of hip hop? Why was hip hop started? Where was hip hop born at? What are the different eras of hip hop? And these are simple questions that a lot of people who ridicule hip hop, being it black people, being it white people, can't answer. And I feel like that we have a lot of people out here who they like to blame hip hop for everything, or blame groups that were in hip hop. I'm not saying these groups didn't contribute to a lot of destruction or playing to certain negative stereotypes, but I feel like for someone to have an overall perspective and to critique something, being as someone black or being as someone outside of the black community, you need to know about the culture. And a lot of people, people maybe in their 40s or 50s, that's kind of stuck in the old ages, or even people around, in their 20s. If you do not know the history and the culture of hip hop, I think there's a limitation of where you need to judge it at. Because basically you're judging groups, you're judging the music, you're judging the culture simply off of what you hear on the radio. Simply off of just what you hear. You're not looking at the overall perspective. And let me go back in history of hip hop for a minute. Hip hop it's always been a young man's game. That it's always been like that. It was a part of music where black people were able to express what was going on. A lot of things that you heard you weren't gonna like. A lot of these people who do hip hop being in the mainstream independent level, maybe the cat on the block that can rap, but nobody knows them across the world. They are talking about and displaying what's going on in their life, what's going on in their community. So a lot of times you got people that go after cats like Chief Keef, or, and I'm not saying these brothers don't hold no responsibility or need to shape up on some of the things that they put out here to the public, but they'll go after cats like Chief Keef, excuse me, or a lot of cats that are coming out of Chicago right now, or they'll go after groups like N.W.A. who talked about the gangster lifestyle, or police brutality, or even just the overall mindset of what a lot of people were thinking about, or the young generation had on their mind at that time. Or they'll talk about people like Waka Flock, or Gucci Man. A lot of these guys that portray the gangster image and all that. But you have to understand that a lot of times this is where these guys grew up at. This is their lifestyle. This is their mindset. So if someone is talking about an impoverished neighborhood, they're talking about gangster hip hop, and you have no relevance to that. You've never been around that culture. You've never experienced those type of conditions. You've never been in a single parent house, or you never experienced a gangster lifestyle. You will not be able to relate to that. Now you have some music listeners that, even though they can't relate to, they like the storytelling. They like the art form. They like hearing someone else's perspective, because a lot of people don't like that. They want things to be the way they want it to be. Neither when it comes to hip hop, they want it to be all political. Nobody wants to hear political shit all the time, or they want it to be about social commentary. Nobody wants to hear that all the time. Or you have the audience that just want to hear gangster music and hearing about somebody getting shot up or shoot them up, bang bang, or selling drugs. Nobody wants to hear that all the time. So there's different elements of hip hop, but I think one of the main things I think, especially within the black community, that we have a habit of doing is we like to blame hip hop for everything, and that's it's a lot of different elements and a lot of different sources that contribute to those who do come out here coon and buffoon within the hip hop industry, or not just within the hip hop industry, but in movies that people don't want to talk about. Well, mind you, there's violence in country music that people glide over. There's violence in rock music. How many times have we heard, rockers talk about they want to kill their mom, or kill some type of pet or animal? There's violence in all different sources of entertainment. But what happens that when you have black people come around and talk about the conditions they live in, or talk about a certain mindsets, or talk about things that they've experienced, being it bad or good, people want to attack it. Remind you, even when hip hop was political, hip hop was attacked. You had people coming out here saying they're gonna start a race riot, or they're putting their political views out here to the public. They're gonna start this and start that. So hip hop has always been controversial. We can't blame it on groups like N.W.A. or those who talk about the gangster lifestyle, because hip hop has always been the target, even when it was political. And I want everybody to understand that. But as far as this movie, I hope Gary does a great job with it. I will check it out, but I hope that it has balance. I hope that it shows the truth. Don't just show the gangster stuff and the ignorance of it, but show the positive. Show what was coming out of LA at that time. And if you didn't live in LA, you won't understand what N.W.A. was, all the things that they were talking about. Now, police brutality goes on across the country, but you're not gonna fully know what these brothers was talking about unless you lived in L.A. But that's my opinion. I think that company needs to go to hell. They need to ass whoop. But as far as this N.W.A. movie, I will check it out, but I just hope it's done in the right format. You guys give me your feedback. I will leave a link in the description box. But I'm out. Let's not blame hip hop for every goddamn thing. There's other sources. Open the book. Start paying attention. Start reading. Start learning your history.